Beloved, today we celebrate the Feast of All Saints. Instituted in 609, this feast has two purposes. First of all, we are able to celebrate all the canonized saints, including those not in the universal calendar. Each year has only 365 days, and so many saints have no liturgical feast, bumped out by more popular or significant saints. And so today we celebrate all of them with solemn rites. The other purpose of the feast is to rejoice in all the saints, not only those officially canonized by the Church, but also those who lived more obscure lives by the will of God, or those who needed purgatory to reach heaven but are now living in glory. We consider the vision of St. John, with 12,000 marked from every tribe of Israel, and then a multitude of Gentiles that no one can count, together with all the good angels. It is a feast of hope because we, little though we are, can join that great assembly one day, if only we persevere in doing good. In one of his works, St. Anselm of Canterbury speaks about the joys of heaven. He says, "Truly the saints have everything they want and nothing they do not want. In heaven are such goods of both body and soul that neither eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the human heart conceived." And then he addresses the reader. "So what do you long for, O Christian soul? It is there in heaven. Whatever you love, whatever you long for, it is there." St. Anselm then mentions the things that we desire: beauty, strength, freedom, health, wisdom. And then he mentions friendship. "The greatest joys of friendship are found in heaven," he says. "All love God and all love one another in God, and their friendship is not hard but easy, with only concord and peace between all the blessed." As if that were not enough, Anselm then explains what it will be like to be friends with saints. He says, "Imagine if you had all the things you desired and your soul was filled with joy and peace. Then you learn that your closest friend possessed the same blessings. Then your joy would be doubled. And then you learn the same about your parents and your children, your more distant friends, and all the heroes of your life. They had the same happiness. Each time your joy would be doubled until your heart was so full that it felt like it would burst. That joy of mutual possession is in all that is good, easily communicated to one another what blessings flood each soul. That in itself would be enough to desire heaven if we are honest. For that communal joy is far greater than anything that we ever experience here on earth. Because when one person rejoices in their heart on this earth, others rarely know about it. And do we even regularly communicate such things to our closest of friends? But in heaven, communication is constant, instantaneous, profound. Since heaven is then the utter opposite of envy, insofar as every man's joy is also his neighbor's joy, we should live our lives here with that in mind. Though all will share the joys of all in heaven, yet there will be levels of intimacy also there. Each will share his joys more profoundly with those he loved most in this life. And that applies above all with the saints. If we love a saint here, one day that saint will share his happiness with us in a way he will not share with those who only began to love him in heaven. And if we have a good idea that we will likely end up in the first sphere of Dante's Paradiso, rather than ascend to the eighth, what a better plan for happiness than to love fervently now the saints likely to be higher than us in beatitude. This is a wisdom that is greater than that of the unjust steward, because we do not write off the debts of others like he did, for we hold on tight to those who not only pay their own debts, but even pay the debts of others. By honoring these saints, asking them to help us, reading their writings and their lives, telling others about them, we compel them, as it were, to give us a share in their joy, both now and in eternity. And the more saints that we love, with a profound love, not a superficial one, the more joy will be ours in heaven, even if we stumble to the finish line. So please today use this feast to enlighten your devotion to your heavenly friends. Do not take them for granted. Do not suppose that because you were fervent with them years ago, your friendship is still intact. Reach out to them by prayer. Reread their life. Recall their benefits to you. If it is sound to speak to our angel every day and even many times a day, this also applies to our saints. To go back for a moment to the idea of sharing joy based on love. This explains why some saints are happier than others, because this also happens with God himself. The saints who love more have more entree into the joys of God in heaven. He more readily communicates with them. So in loving the saints, do not lose sight of the truth, this truth also, that in heaven above all we will be the friends of God. Happy the man who has truly loved the Lord above all things in this life and has sought his kingdom through blood, sweat, and tears. For the reward will be very great in heaven, much greater than we can even imagine.